Welcome back to the Op-Ed Average podcast, where we have plenty of opinions, but most of them are pretty average. I'm Anna.
And I'm Monica. Throughout the last year, we've talked here and there about the infamous Disney cruise that never was. I mean, you've heard about our Japan travels, our SDCC trips, our Disneyland trips.
Yes.
But 26 episodes later, we are finally going to talk about the cruise that just never happened. I don't know how many times that we said
we bring it up. Like, I wonder if we can go back to the episodes and like count how many times we brought it up. And we usually say like, we'll do an episode on it and we'll tell you guys like, what really happened. So here we are, right?
Yeah,
we're gonna do
here
it.
we are. Yeah. We're going to tell you about the time tried to go on a Disney Wish cruise.
Yes. And we hit a hurricane. And we'll tell you about our experience and how it kind of just changed. It was a really pretty big, like traumatic thing. So
I think
yeah.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. Woo! I don't know why we're laughing because it's not funny.
Only after a year later of the trauma.
I know.
We can only talk about or laugh about it now.
Yeah. So we planned this trip with the whole Average Nerd Plus family, right?
Yeah.
With Janelle and Mikey and Riley and Jorge were going to go with us. So it was a lot. I want to say our original trip had 12 people that planned to go, because there's 8 of us going and there's 4 people that were on our original trip that aren't going with us. So that's 12 of us going. We planned this, oh my God, so soon after we met and started hanging out. Like, we were at Juan and Lisa's house. I want to say, what was it, like early 2021, right?
It was to be.
Yeah, early, because I feel like we booked it so far in advance. We were supposed to go in the fall of 2022. So early 2021, we were all at Juan. I like distinctly remember this. We were all at Juan and Lisa's house hanging out.
Yeah.
And Lisa was like, "Do you guys want to go on a Disney cruise?" And we're like, "Sure."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, we were kind of like all looking it up on our phones and like how much it costs, and everyone was just like so down because like all of us we enjoy Disney, and some of us more than others, and I've never been on a cruise before. Jay's never been on a cruise before. So we were all kind of like really hyping it up because, we were all excited to go and with each other.
Right. And I think one of the big things is that everyone knows that like Disney cruises are like next level. Like it's not like your average. I think that's pretty known. It's a little bit pricier than, like a Carnival or a Royal Caribbean cruise ship. But I think the kicker was this was a brand new ship. Yeah. So this was the Disney Wish, and it was supposed to be, so we were planning to go fall of 2022, and it was going to be released like earlier that summer. So we were going to be like one of the first people on the ship, right?
So they call it like the inaugural
sailing.
Yeah.
So I want to say, I think like, I don't know if they refer to that as like the first, I know the first cruise, but it's like the first year is like their inaugural year of the cruise. So yeah. So a week later, the girls all woke up super early because it was like a drop, right?
Yeah. We had to pre-order our tickets or something like that. We had to coordinate at like 4 or 5 in the morning. We all jumped on. At this point, like we weren't like super close, but like, close enough. Yeah. And that, when we were trying to buy these tickets, we had to, get all this information, and we were trying to coordinate because it's a lot of people and we wanted to make sure everyone got tickets. So we were like, what if we just shared all of our info so that if one of us gets in, they could just put as much info
for everyone. Yeah.
And that's where we learned everyone's full names and birthdays. And we're like, what?
Yeah. Believe it or not, like we didn't even know each other's like last names at this, like a lot of us didn't know each other's last names. We didn't really know like ages. This is like a shock to me that I was like much older than everyone else. I didn't want to give my birth date out, but we had to do it. But it all worked out. Like we were all able to book. It was just like, we were just so excited, but it was like a full, I want to say it was like almost like a year and a half that we had to go on this cruise. So it was a long
Yeah.
time, but it was during COVID, like early 2021. We were not even out of COVID yet, right? So people,
No.
I think everyone was like just getting vaccines and,
Mhm.
all that kind of stuff. So we had a long, long way to go, but
Mhm.
you know,
I mean, we booked it and then, you kinda just, like, sit and wait.
mhm,
But with, like, COVID going on at the time, Disney did have, like, a lot of, policies in
protocols.
place and protocols, for
Mhm.
the whole COVID safety thing. So we had to, look into that too when we were, booking and planning. I think we started, like, the process of actually checking in, I guess, like, I don't know, I wanna say it was, like, at least 3 or 4 months ahead.
Right, right. We were getting
Um
emails about like at this time you still had to submit like I think like COVID tests, right? I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure like you had to submit COVID tests and you had to do like all the like even like your vaccination certificates and all that kind of stuff. So we were all getting ready. We're all doing that. But I want to mention like in the meantime, we lost two people on the
Oh,
trip. And I think it's okay to say because it's all done at this point. But Juan and Lisa ended up getting pregnant during the time that we were like, getting ready to go. So they weren't going to go with us. Unfortunately, they weren't allowed to because,
yeah.
there's that like timeline, like you have to be X amount of weeks and under in order to go on the cruise. And I think Disney's actually stricter than other cruise ships on that.
Yeah, they don't want you giving birth on their
Yeah, on this
boats.
ship. Yes, yeah, they're not equipped for that, even though it's for kids. So they, that was a bummer that they weren't gonna be
Of
able to
course.
make it, but, there was still like, like 10 of us that were planning to go on the trip. So,
Mhm.
we make it all the way out to about I mean, we were like, I wanna say that things, like, started to go sideways. Like, we were all, like, chat on our group chat a couple weeks before was about like what clothes we were bringing. It was Halloween time, so there was going to be like a costume thing going on and all that kind of stuff. So,
We
one, how
experienced,
would you?
like, also, like, our first experience with, like, booking activities and,
Yeah,
excursions out for the
we
cruise,
we did.
and we all jumped onto, like, Discord or something,
Mhm.
and we are like, "Okay, what, activity are we gonna do? What dinners should
Yes,
we, like,
we tried to get
reserve?"
a cabana.
Try to get a cabana, and it was all just like a chaotic mess as usual for anything new in Disney
Mhm,
coming out, and
mhm.
I think we didn't get any Disney
We didn't
reservations,
get
like a
anything.
special. We
Yeah,
didn't get
yeah.
a cabana.
Yeah, and I think this is mostly because also it was a brand new ship, like, it was,
Mhm.
like, super new, so I
The
think,
hype was
like
real.
yeah, yeah, it was a huge thing, and our group chat was just, like, for day just, like, all the time, like, going off about everything we were gonna do, all the plans that we had, and, the
Mhm.
girls were gonna do the spa, and it was just, like, all this
Mhm.
stuff, and then
Yeah.
maybe about how long before would you say that things like I wanna say it was, like, a week. Like, we weren't paying attention to I mean, we don't pay attention I don't pay attention to weather in Florida. Like,
No.
I now I do. But,
Yeah.
like, before, like, we never, like, we never paid attention to that kinda stuff.
Right, I mean,
So
we
about
never
a week yeah.
took into the factor of when we booked our cruise, it was gonna be in October, and apparently October in Florida is hurricane
Yes.
season. We
Yes.
were not aware
We're not
of this.
aware. We were just trying
So
to I really don't think there was any rhyme or reason for us picking the date. I think, like, I remember having a conversation with Lisa that it's like, "Oh, it's October. It's not gonna be as hot in Florida as if we went in the summer." That was, like, our like, that and, like, I think it's a little bit cheaper during that time. We didn't know why.
it was
We thought
also my
yeah.
birthday
It
that
was your
week.
birthday? Yeah, so it was a big thing. We kinda thought it was a little bit cheaper also because, like, kids were back in school. Like, we didn't know it was, like, a weather thing, you
And
know?
I mean, I think like around that time, the different sailings, we chose that one because that was specifically going to start Halloween on high seas on the boat.
Mhm.
So there was going to be special Halloween activities.
Yes.
And I remember Jorge being, like, super psyched about it
Yeah, we have a
because
lot of Halloween enthusiasts in this
yeah,
group, yeah.
and, we were really excited on that part for the cruise, but I would say, yeah, I think it was, like, a week or 2 before we were
Yeah,
about to
I
set
think it was
sail.
yeah, a week where I wanna say it might have been Mikey or Jay that sent something out in the group chat that was like, "You guys know there's a hurricane coming, right?" Or something to
Do
that
I
effect.
still have that oh, no, we just called ourselves the hurricane relief team.
Yes, yes.
I think
So
since then I switched phones, so I don't have
yeah.
those
So I
anymore.
think, like, we kind of, like, heard on the news someone said there but it was just like, "It's not gonna happen. Yeah, whatever. It's not gonna hit us. Nothing is gonna happen," right? Like,
Right,
it's
right.
still, nothing meh, whatever. We didn't really pay
Uh,
I think we didn't really pay attention to it right away.
I think just became more prevalent on the news, and then I guess because the hurricane they hadn't had, like, a big hurricane like that in a really long time or something, and, of course, it's like we didn't know how long it was gonna last at that point.
We literally don't know anything about hurricanes here in
We
California.
live in California,
Yes, yes.
and we're more worried about earthquakes
Earthquakes, yeah.
than
We're knowledgeable
hurricanes.
about earthquakes, but, like, we don't really know anything about it, and then I think that, like, the one of the reasons why we weren't really tripping off it was because it was like, how they have the projections of what direction the hurricane was gonna go? It
Mhm,
wasn't supposed to hit Orlando, and
mhm,
we weren't going to Orlando, we were going to, what is it? Port Canaveral. Port
mhm,
Canaveral is, like, where the Disney ship, like, takes off, and it's on the East Coast of, Florida. It's on the East Coast of Florida, and, like, the early, like, and it's about an hour away from Orlando, and the early predictions was that it was gonna hit the West Coast of Florida. So it wasn't supposed to go, like, too near, like, where we were gonna be or anything like that. It didn't work
yeah.
that way.
Things started escalating, the more that it came up in the news, I'm sure your parents, your family started
Yeah.
asking you if you're still gonna go, our family started asking if we were still gonna go. And we're like, I mean, it's just it doesn't look like a big deal,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
they're still letting planes, fly
yeah,
in. I
yeah,
mean, I feel like if it was a big deal, they wouldn't they haven't
yeah.
said anything about canceling the cruise.
Yes, and so
So
here's the thing for me that I think led me to believe that, like, we were still gonna go or the cruise is still gonna happen or whatever was that I did research
mhm,
and there was, like, all this stuff, like, not confirmed or whatever, but it is so freaking rare for a cruise ship to cancel an entire cruise because they would lose so much money, like, just
mhm,
the money involved, and it's just like it's just something that doesn't happen. Like it's just very, very rare that go forward because of something weather related. So I was like,
mhm.
we're going, no worries. Like
Yeah.
we're going.
So up until the very day we were gonna fly out, I think our schedules were a little bit mixed compared to, like, our trip this time around.
Mhm.
Yeah, Anna and Av were set to fly out before we were.
Yeah. So
Is
I
that how
think like us and then like I don't remember, but I know that me and Ab and you and Jay were I think gonna go 2 days before the cruise even set sail. So like we were supposed to go on Wednesday or something like that. And like something about like, oh, we were just gonna, I've been to Florida once. Like we took Noah when he was really, really young. But we were
Mhm.
gonna do like the Disney World thing. We were gonna just like take a couple days and go
Yeah.
around. So I think us four were going to go like 2 days before. Everyone else was going to come the night before the cruise.
Mhm.
So I don't know, for some reason for us, when we started seeing the TV things, we're like, oh, you know what it was that really started freaking us out? Our flights started getting canceled. Remember
Oh,
that?
yes. Oh, yeah, we started scrambling because I don't know who you booked with. I think originally Jay and I are, more like standby flyers, and our standby flights are getting canceled.
Yeah.
And so we were like, okay, let's just book a flight to
Yes,
go
yeah.
to
So I think, like, the
Orlando.
2 days before, those flights were getting canceled, but we noticed the day before, so 3 days before, were still open, and for us, they were letting us jump on those flights. So in our heads, we're like, "We just need to get to Florida." Like, it's
Mhm,
something like the hurricane was supposed to be, like, Wednesday, Thursday. So if we get
mhm.
there on Tuesday and our cruise leaves on Friday, we'll be okay, right?
Maybe for, like, some sane people, they were like, "Well, a hurricane's coming. Maybe they're canceling because we
Yeah.
shouldn't go
Yeah,
there."
exactly.
Here we are trying to beat the
Yes.
hurricane there
That's
so
that's
we can
literally like
get on
what,
the cruise.
yeah, ended up happening was that so basically the ten of us that were going, half of us just like flights got canceled and was just like, we're not gonna try, which is really a bummer.
Mhm,
But like for
mhm,
some reason, us five, us four, me, you, Jay, Evan, Dave, were like, we're just gonna try. We're gonna get there early. We're
mhm,
gonna, what do they call it? Like weather the storm. And then on
mhm,
Friday,
literally.
when our ship's supposed to leave, we're gonna jump on that ship and we're
Yeah,
gonna leave, right? And that's
yeah,
what we did. Yeah. So
right,
we left
yeah,
on Tuesday.
uh-huh.
We left on Tuesday. Our ship was supposed to leave on Friday. You guys, I think, left Wednesday or like just right after us, or
Pretty much.
mhm.
I think, yeah, we booked a flight going from like Sacramento to Seattle, then to Orlando. That was the only flights left available to get to Orlando. I think last minute Dave was like, "I'm gonna just hop onto that flight too." So
Yeah.
he ended up following us onto the same flight, and we all ended up catching the flight to Seattle. And
Yes.
I think that's we were trying to update with, like, Anna and Ab that, like,
Mhm.
"Okay, we're on this thing, waiting. We haven't heard a cancellation from the
Yeah.
cruise or the flight yet, so I think we're okay."
Yeah. But
Um
I think like that evening, wherever you got, when you guys got to Seattle, we found out they were canceling the cruise, which was the
Yeah,
freaking saddest thing ever. And on top of that, they were closing the airport in Orlando that you guys
yeah.
were landing at. And we
I
think,
think I think we found out they were canceling when we were already on our flight from Seattle
oh,
to
yeah,
Orlando, like, we
yes,
couldn't turn back.
yeah.
Like, we were
Well,
on the flight.
yeah, when I remember, like, when you guys got to Seattle, we already knew, like, we were texting when you guys were on your layover, and I was telling Ab, I was like, "Just tell them to turn back. Like, there's no reason for them to, like, come here and, like, all of us get stuck or whatever." But you
Mhm.
guys were like, I think you guys felt bad for us because we were already there, but also your luggage was checked.
Oh, yeah. Our luggage had already gone.
Yes.
And yes, of course,
So
like, we didn't wanna, like, leave you guys, like, all by yourself in random Orlando, Florida.
yeah, it was so bad. It
So,
was so
like, I
bad.
think it was, I don't know how many hours. Was it 8 hours? I don't know. It was an 8-hour flight or something
Yeah,
from
because
Seattle
it
to
was like,
Florida.
yeah, it was, and you guys were like one of the last flights that got
Uh-huh.
into the airport, right? I'm
And
getting chills.
I remember the pilot. I mean, we were already bummed, like, on the flight, right? And then we also just the rain actually starts happening, like, we enter the area of rain, and our pilot is like, "Okay, so it's getting a little, a little, wet around here, and the rain is pouring a little bit. We're gonna try to make this landing as, smooth as possible." And I'm just over here like
Yeah, yeah.
but surprisingly, the guy did, like, a really
Like,
smooth
right,
landing,
right, right. Oh my
thankfully. So
god.
we landed safely, and it was
Yeah.
already raining. I wouldn't say it's, like, crazy rain, like, I feel like I've seen crazy rain up until that point. It was
Mhm.
just regular rain.
Yeah.
Um, and, we get off the plane, we're texting Ab and Anna, like, "Hey, we made it."
Yes.
And we're trying to just organize just getting on the shuttle to
Mhm.
a hotel. And then on our way to the hotel, I think we were realizing a lot of things were like getting closed off. And we just see all these people in the airport. There's so many people in the airport just trying to get out
Yeah.
because they
So
were
leave.
cutting
They're trying
off.
to leave Florida.
Yeah. And they're getting cut off because they don't want people flying out in the middle of a hurricane
And here
and
you guys are, like,
coming in.
yes,
When we landed, got on the shuttle, we met Am and Anna. We
yeah.
all were just like,
Yeah, it was very, very sad, and, like, so since Av and I, like, got in, like, a day earlier, we stayed in a hotel for, like, one night, like, we were just gonna crash there for a night. It was like a
mm,
Marriott, like a, one of the like a Summer Hill Suites or whatever. We
of
were
Spring
gonna
Hill Suites.
transfer, yeah, Spring Hill Suites or whatever it's called, and we were gonna transfer to a Residence Inn that was, like, down the in the same parking lot, but, like, down the
Oh,
way, and
yeah.
that's where we were all supposed to stay. We were all supposed to stay there the night before the cruise and then take a shuttle to the port like the next morning. So I really didn't like so like for those that don't know, like I am a hotel connoisseur. So that is one thing that I am like very particular about, but I didn't really like put a lot of like effort into this because we were like one night, right? Like we were going to say like 1 or 2 nights, like we're going to be around Disney. We're not really going to whatever. It was fucking jank, dude. It was
We probably would have been better staying at Spring Hill
yeah,
Suites.
but no, but the only thing I guess with the Residence Inn was that we had a living room. Like, so it was a two
Oh, yeah.
bedroom, two bathroom suite. We had a living room and a kitchen. So at
Mhm.
least it was that, but oh my, it was so like, I don't even want to say it, but there was like, it smelled funny. It's Florida, you guys. Like, it's very humid in
It's
Florida.
humid.
Yeah, everything smells funny. It was just like, I want to say there was like mold on the ceiling, right? There was mold on the ceiling. I was just like, and we were trapped. We were stuck there until like the hurricane passed or whatever.
Yeah, we should have known, about that hotel. I mean, I don't know if it's always been like that or if it's because of the whole hurricane situation, but I remember checking in and we had to wait in, like, the little lobby,
Yes.
and we just saw from the ceiling, like, a leak from the ceiling, and it was just, like, dropping onto the carpet floor,
Yeah. It was
and we're
so
not talking
gross.
about, like, a little tiny drip, we're just talking, like, a splash drip,
Yeah.
and do you think they know that this is leaking right now? And we told, like, staff, and they were
I
like,
was just like,
"Oh,
yeah.
yeah, here's a trash can."
Yeah, they put a trash can. It was just like I could not like I don't know. And for we didn't know this, but I guess like in Florida, when stuff like this happens, residents check into hotels, right? So
Oh, I didn't know
residents,
that.
yeah. So residents check into hotels. I don't know for what, like, oh, because they have generators and the power will likely not go out in a hotel. They just, I
Mhm.
guess it's like more comfortable in a hotel. We found out that like the Disney hotels, like in actual Orlando, are like
Yeah.
booked like during hurricanes because they take such good care of them. Like,
Mhm.
like the kids have
They have
activities,
activities,
their
yeah.
food is good, there's,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So, all those hotels are booked, but man, like, did we have an experience at this hotel? So it was like, I think like we got in super early Wednesday, like we checked in on Wednesday and we were gonna, it was supposed to be like Wednesday night was like the eye of the storm, right?
I think
So
so, yeah.
so Wednesday night was the eye of the storm. In the middle of the night, that's when it was reported that it was going to be like the heaviest downpour. And then Thursday, like it just completely flooded and everything was closed.
Yeah, literally, the roads around us, they were flooded to the point where, like, like, cars couldn't drive by. There were some, like, trying to brave the storm and drive by, but, very few people on the road. Sandbags were everywhere.
Nothing was
Um,
open.
Nothing was
Yeah.
open. You could see the palm trees just swaying in the wind.
Yeah, it was pretty like I'd never seen that. We don't
It was
see that
pretty, yeah.
here. Yeah. And I think we actually took video, so maybe it would be cool to like post that because I have a really good video of like the wind and the trees.
Let us
So what I
relive the moment.
yes. So Mon, let's talk about our food situation. Because
Uh,
this was
what
something that was
food
just
situation?
exactly our lack of like nourishment. So when Av and I got Av is just he's like I think he just thinks like I'm overreacting when I'm like
Uh,
buy all this stuff, buy hella water, buy hella food. He's just like, why do we need so much stuff? Like, and I think he went out with the guys when you guys arrived, like before the storm, but like we had so on Wednesday when we arrived to the hotel, the boys Ubered and they were able to they went to like a freaking gas station, right?
They went to Wawa,
They went to Wawa. For
like,
those that
this
don't know, that's a
I've
gas
never
station.
yeah,
Like,
apparently it's a famous gas station or,
yeah,
like, a pretty well-known thing in
yeah. Would you say
Orlando.
it's kind of like a AM, PM 7-Eleven type? Yeah,
I
right?
feel like
Like
it's
a
bigger than that. Maybe it's closer to, like, Buc-ee's or something.
okay, but not
Um,
as good and not as big, I think.
yeah, maybe. But yeah, they Ubered there.
Yeah, I think they went to Wawa. They went to Wawa. They were able to get
Oh,
us some stuff on Wednesday, but they didn't get like a ton of stuff. And then
oh.
on Wednesday, we were actually able to place like a order for food at this Italian place.
Mhm.
Italian place.
Pretty sure the Italian place was just on the first floor of our hotel,
Yes, yes.
but
But we got pizza and like,
enough food to feed us for that night. I don't
yeah.
know why we didn't order more. Because I guess
Yes.
we thought that since it's, like, super local, so it's, like, within the hotel's, like, hotel, what's it called? The room service
Yeah,
menu.
yeah.
So we were like, "Oh, they will just have it available throughout
Right,
the
right.
time, so we'll just order it fresh so we don't have to
Yes.
store it all here."
Yes.
We were mistaken.
Yes, but I also wanna say it was so misleading because in the hotel, they had signage that said, like, "You're safe here." Like, in the to the effect of, like, "You won't go hungry here. We have
Mhm.
food stored, we have water," and all that kinda stuff, and it was just like, "No,
They
you don't."
do.
They do, but
You have to
you have
pay
to
for
pay
it.
for it. You have to
At
pay
the
for it.
hotel premium.
Yes, yes. So that was just like so Wednesday we were fine, right? We ate, like we got
Fine.
the stuff from the convenience store. We ordered a pizza and some other stuff. We thought we would be fine the next day. So that
Mhm.
night was like it rained like really good. We didn't get hit like super hard, but I know like the other areas
Yeah.
around Florida did like all the stuff on the news like I think
Mhm.
all of our parents and grandparents were calling us because they were
Mhm.
seeing the worst of it on the news, right?
Yeah, we had to send them, like, photos and videos, like, outside our own things, like, "Look, we're fine. It's
Yes, yeah.
barely wet, it's a little windy, it's raining a little bit, but we're fine. We're not in the areas that the news people are
Yeah,
displaying
yeah.
to the world. This is all of Florida." No, it's not. It's, like, in certain parts, unfortunate parts
Right,
of
right.
Florida, but we weren't in it. So, yeah, constantly we were getting calls and updates hour by hour, and we were just having the Weather Channel on,
Yeah.
and we just had a lot of criticisms for these, weather people.
Yes, yeah. And Av and Jay are now meteorologists, apparently. They can read the spaghetti model or whatever it's
Yeah.
called. So I would say, like, Wednesday, we were like, "Okay." We spent, like, a good part of the day, like, playing cards. Like, you guys played cards for, like,
Oh, the entire time.
hours. Yeah, the entire time.
The
I
entire time.
actually worked, like, I brought my
She brought
laptop.
her laptop.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I brought my laptop and I was just like kind of grateful I did because I didn't have to waste my vacation days and like
Yes.
ended up working. So that was a thing. But like literally, I want to say like 6 hours of like Posoidos or whatever you guys were playing.
Mm.
It was
Pretty
like,
much for hours on
yeah,
end.
yeah, yeah.
We just played cards. Luckily, we brought cards.
Yes. Oh
Um,
my God.
if we didn't, I don't know what we would have done. There was only so much TV to watch.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we played cards and, we were getting pretty hungry and we were hoping to order again from that
yeah.
Italian place because it's supposed to be just room service.
Hmm.
We had an instance where we were able to order. We were like,
Yeah.
"Ooh,
So
let's
this
order
was like
another
Thursday,
pizza."
right? This
I
was
guess so,
Thursday.
something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, it was
Um,
Thursday, the day after, like, the big storm. I think this is where we hit rock bottom. Dude, this is where we hit rock bottom food wi
oh, yeah. Um, we attempted to order food
I
first, or
think
did they
people
go out first?
order. Well, they oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So, t
So the guys
Thursday
went back
morning,
out. They attempted to go out. They caught an Uber, I
yeah. Mhm.
guess,
They caught an Uber.
and he did manage to drive them to, I guess, the Wawa again. Unfortunately, it was closed. The Uber guy was, I guess, really nice and actually opted to, like, take them to another place he thought he could it could be open and for, like, a little bit of food, also closed. I think they went to 2 more places after
Yeah.
that and also very closed.
Yeah. What is this like for me, like this is so stupid, but like so like dumb and like just so small. But like I remember because Wawa, they have like lattes and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I remember like specifically telling Ab, like, I want a hot vanilla latte, please, please, please. Like I was like hoping to God, like I would somehow get that. It was like no luck. It was so sad. So no
Yeah,
luck. The guys had no luck with food. We thought we could order from the Italian place in our lobby, and they took our order actually, right?
they did. And I think like an hour or so went by and we didn't hear anything or receive anything.
Mhm.
They were supposed to have like contacted us with like an update or something like that, but we never heard anything. So I think it was Dave. Dave like reached out and he's like, "Hey, just wanted to check up on the status of our order." And they're like, "Let me see." And they're like, after I think like maybe like a good 15 minutes, 15 20
Yeah.
minutes on the phone, they're like, "Oh, we had to cancel that order."
And they didn't even tell us, and we were, like, hoping for, like, hot food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we were, like, so pissed because we were, like I think we ordered, like we went in on the order. We
Yeah.
would order enough for, like, a few days.
Yeah,
We were
yeah.
like, "We're gonna
Like,
get this
couple pizzas,
pizza, this
couple
sandwich,
pastas, yeah,
pork sandwich, this
yeah.
Giuseppe's."
Was that the dessert?
Like a dessert. I think it was, like, some hot buns or
I can't
something.
believe you remember the order.
And, yeah, we were like, "I wonder where they're gonna give us our food."
Yeah, we were
And
so excited. I think we were just so excited. We were
delusional at that
so
point.
yeah, we were delusional. The hotel breakfast was disgusting,
Oh my
and like it
gosh.
was flooded in down there, so that like we were just so sad at that point. We were so excited for the food. I want to say that might have brought us to tears when they said, "Yeah, we weren't getting food."
I
So
think we
like,
were also really concerned because I think they charged Dave's card. He was the
yeah,
one who
and it
placed
was
the order.
expensive. I want to say we
Mhm.
probably spent like $200
Yeah,
on that
and
order.
we were like, "Are you gonna refund us?" And like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, you'll see the refund,
Mhm.
like, in the next business day or 2 or whatever." So, Dave was just waiting for that to come back. So, we had to resort to the only place that we know had food, for sure, which was downstairs in the lobby,
Yeah.
which only had things like,
They had Hot Pockets, I
Hot
think.
Pockets, they had,
Yeah,
frozen meals like Stouffer's,
yeah. Stouffer's
and
things. They had those, like, you guys know, like, they had the Lunchable little Lunchable things with, like, the meat and the cheese. They had, like, the little tuna pack, like, it's, like, tuna and crackers thing. Oh my
mm,
god, you guys, we spent $100 down there.
I thought it
It
was
wa
more. I
it wa
think we took a picture of
Dave
that too, right?
yeah, I took a pic oh, I can post that too,
No,
like
post that
yeah,
picture because
it
that was
was
our diet for the next
yeah, it was
2 days.
so yes, it was so, so sad. It was just like a total experience, but I guess like that was Thursday, and then it was so weird because the next day was Friday, and Friday,
That was the
everything
day we were
opened
supposed to set sail.
yeah, it was the day we were supposed to set sail, and everything opened up, and it was sunny and
Oh
beautiful,
my
and
gosh.
everyone just acted like nothing happened, right?
I
It was
was
like
so upset.
yeah, it was and that was your birthday. That was
Yes,
your birthday. Yeah, I remember
it
it was
was
your
my
birthday that day.
birthday.
Yeah. Oh
I
my
mean, I
god.
was very grateful that it wasn't like a hurricane on my birthday, but it was just so like, oh my god, we could have gone on this cruise.
Yeah.
You know what happened to the cruise? Because the cruise had like a sailing before ours, obviously, and like they were supposed to come back and get the ship ready again for our
Mhm.
sailing
For us.
for us. But because it was in the middle of the hurricane, they never docked. They actually had to stay on sea for another day.
Yeah. So
So
they
those
took the
people
people farther out,
yeah,
right?
and they never docked. They stayed on the cruise. They had an extra day. I'm sure they had plenty of food.
Yes.
They didn't have to deal with any of the hurricane at all. But you
Yeah.
know what? It was the only cruise ship out of all the other cruise ships from that dock that stayed out. Everyone else had come back.
Yeah, yeah. So and also so the people that were on that ship didn't have to pay extra. They stayed
No.
on for like 2 extra days or 3 extra days or whatever.
Yep.
And also like it was just I don't know, it was like it felt like a slap in the face on Friday because we finally were able to go out, which is great. Like we needed
Mhm.
to get out of the hotel and just get some fresh air. So on Thursday night we had heard that like things were going to start opening up. So we were like, "Oh, let's go to Disney World. Let's go around there." And it was like everyone was just hanging out, like nothing happened. And we just
Yeah,
went through this like super traumatizing like experience. Like it
yeah.
was like, so it was literally like 2 days, like 48 hours of like stuck in the hotel with like, it was just sad. I feel like I don't know. It was very like, I think it was like traumatizing. Like
I think so. I mean, I would go as far to say that it was so traumatizing that it was like a basically a trauma bonding moment for us
yes, yeah,
5. I
yeah.
mean, of course, we would have loved to have had the trip with everyone else. Thankfully, they didn't have to, like, suffer with us,
Mhm.
but because we kind of were just having to stick together through the whole thing and, like, we didn't have anywhere to go. We shared the suite together, and we
And
were just
thank God we had a living room. What
thank
just one, a standard with 2 beds in a bathroom. We would have
Yeah.
killed each other, you
Yeah.
know?
I mean, me and Jay stayed in one room, Ab and Anna stayed in the other one. Dave had the whole living room to
Mhm.
himself, and, I totally forgot that Dave had planned out that whole trip for him to go on the cruise with us, and then immediately after, he was supposed to go to SDCC in New York.
Yeah, yeah.
So, he, like, packed for not only the cruise, but also for all of
The
his stuff in
right, right.
SDCC.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, he had so much luggage to go
Yes,
through.
he did.
He parked
But
his car
yeah,
at the
so
airport.
you guys on Friday, so we finally got to go out on Friday, which is cool. Like, we actually like it was so sad. We were just our spirits were like just so low. But we went out to like Disney Springs, which is like equivalent to like California Adventure, but on a
Mhm.
much bigger scale because they have
Mhm.
way more land there in Florida. We had like a good dinner, like say it was an okay dinner at a
He
nice
surprised
place.
me with the cupcakes for
Yes, we did,
my
we did a little
birthday.
birthday thing with Mon. We found these amazing cookies at
Oh,
this
yeah.
yeah, this like bakery called Gideon's, which is
Mhm.
only there at Disney Springs and it's like pretty well known, but totally like the hype is real for Gideon's.
Mhm.
But we did that, so when we got back to our room, like we had all bought costumes for the ship.
'Cause
Like
for
we
Halloween for High Seas,
yeah,
we got costumes, and we wanted to be like, a group costume. What
yes,
was our
yes.
costume?
We were skeletons. We were
The
skeletons. Yeah.
skeleton crew.
Yeah. And then when we got back to our hotel that night, we put the costumes on and we were just like we took pictures and like that's something that I could share as well, but it was like I'll be honest with you, like I feel like it was really a very sad trip, but like it definitely bonded us. Like I feel like we got super close. It was like exactly what you said, like trauma bonding. Like
Mhm.
it's just something that you'll never forget that we went through.
Luckily, despite all of those things, like, we didn't bite each other's heads off, we're still
Mm.
friends,
Yeah,
we're
no,
still going on this cruise again
yes,
with
because we
each
had
other.
I feel like it was, like, great in a sense that, like we always say this, but, like, if you guys didn't come, like, it would just be me and Av there, or if, like,
Mhm.
just stuff like that. It was just, like it was kind of, like, meant to be. I think that we, like, stayed there together and all that kinda stuff, although it was, like, very traumatic, like, it was just, it's just something that, like, you cannot believe that you actually went through. Like, I shed tears, like, going home from that
Mhm.
trip because I feel like I just could not believe that like we planned this trip for like a year and a half. There's so many of us and like the one cruise ship that got canceled was like ours and it
Mhm.
completely like ruined everything, like
Fell
I know
apart.
this is like a what is that third world this is like a third world problem, I guess. Is that what
Yeah,
people call it? It is, but it's just like,
yeah.
you're coming out of COVID. Like COVID was
Mhm.
really hard for everybody and all that. Mon,
Mhm.
do you want to talk about so just for people, for those people that want to know, like, what did Disney, like, what did you want to talk about, like, what Disney did for us, or like how they're, and then we could talk about our trip that we're going on next week.
Right. So, when we found out that it was canceled, they immediately followed up with that, like, you're gonna get a full refund, and then they were gonna give us a 20% off our next cruise booking, but it
Mhm.
had to be within, like, the next, like, year or whatever. We had to book
I
it
think
within the
we
next year.
had to book it within a year, and we have to take it within 2 years, something
Mhm,
like that. Yeah.
mhm. And obviously, like, after that, it's not like we were itching to go again. We had already,
Yeah.
like, taken time off. We can't just go again.
Yeah, yeah. And
Um,
it's like, even though like we got our money back and we like are getting a discount, like I feel like we use that money on the hotels that we stayed
and
at,
the
because
food.
and the food, because we weren't expecting, we basically stayed at the hotel for like how many extra nights that we weren't,
Yeah,
supposed to, and like we bought all this food where if we had gone on the cruise, it would have all been included. So that
yeah.
money's dead. Like it's like, it's done.
We tried to reach out to them to say, like, well, I'm sure they were getting, like, an onslaught of calls from all the people who were trying to get their refunds or, like, some kinda compensation, from their canceled cruise, and I think we were, like, on hold for a really long time. We were even checking, like, online on the websites for the Disney Cruise Line, and they were basically telling everyone who was part of the canceled, sailing to not contact them until, like, a week later, basically
Yeah.
after everything has settled,
Mhm.
because they were getting, like, too many calls.
Mhm.
"We'll figure it out a week later."
Yeah, yeah.
And so we had already returned from our trip by then, so we were still like, coordinating and, like, trying to reach out to customer service, and basically all they told us was, like, yeah, all they could really do was give us a refund and a 20% off the next booking. I think when we reached out again before we booked this cruise,
Mhm.
we tried to, ask about any kind of compensation again because we were a part of that canceled cruise. And then the customer service person or the reps, they had this audacity to say, it's like, "Oh, you should have told us earlier. Maybe we could
Yeah.
have made you better accommodations." I'm like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah, yeah. How would we have known? And
Yeah.
they were like, "Don't worry, we'll sprinkle some," they literally said they'll sprinkle
Like,
extra magic. Like,
a little
how?
pixie
Like,
dust.
are you, yeah, like I don't know. We'll see.
We're
Maybe on
like,
our
"Is
next
that
episode.
code, can you not,
Yeah.
like, promise anything, but is that, like,
Right, right.
code
We'll
for, like,
see.
upgrade or
Yeah.
dinner reservations,
Yes.
something?"
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So that's basically like, do you have any like closing thoughts? Like that's definitely like my takeaway from it, is that like I think it changed our relationship like for the better, in a way where it was just like, dude, 48 hours we were together, like every
For
meal,
us,
every.
it was 72. Dave left a day
Oh
early.
yeah. Yeah.
We
And then
even went out again the next day, and
yeah, yeah.
we went to, like, escape rooms. That's where we
Yeah.
discovered having fun
Fun at
with
escape
going to
rooms.
escape rooms.
Yeah, yeah. So
Um
we like, so basically we, by Sunday of that week, we had all like headed home. Like
Mhm.
we basically just spent like a couple extra days, not extra days, but like, the time in Orlando when we were supposed to be like in the Bahamas or whatever. So we
Mhm,
did other things there, it
mhm.
was, yeah, that's basically what we did. But I think that's my big takeaway, is that we just really like really made our relationships like really, really close. But it was also very like PTSD now, where it's like whenever we go on a trip, I'm like, oh my God, are we really gonna go? Or like until we're on that plane or whatever. It's just,
Yeah, I
like,
mean, until we're on that boat for this cruise, I'm
yeah.
not gonna believe it that we're gonna be on this
Yeah.
trip. Like, we
And
need to
Mon
be
I
on that
mean,
boat.
for us, both of us had trips planned during COVID. Like we were
Mhm.
supposed to go, Ab and I were going to
Oh my
Iceland and
god.
Europe. It was our 20-year wedding anniversary. So we had like a big European trip planned. You guys were going on your honeymoon in Korea.
It was supposed to be our 3rd anniversary and our big trip to Korea that we had also planned for a very long time, like, I think, like, over a year, and that was unfortunately when COVID hit, and we had up until, like, the last few days before we were supposed to fly out, we had to make the devastating choice to not go because they were closing off, all the countries, and
Yeah.
everyone's going under quarantine, and so it was kind of just another, like, hit to, like, our
Yeah, it's like
travel
another slap in
plans.
the face, like
Yeah,
another canceled trip that you had, put
2020 was
so
supposed to be our big, like, travel year,
Mhm.
and then that was delayed, so 2021, then we started planning more stuff, and then
Yeah. So guys, that's our story. That's the
yeah.
story that we have. So, like we said, like, so our next episode will be us post cruise, right? It'll be
Yeah, I
post
think
cruise,
yeah,
right?
we'll have gone on the cruise,
Mhm.
and I think if we time it right, we should have that next episode up
Yeah,
by the
we
time,
will. Yes, we
um
will. So we're leaving. You guys wish us luck. By the time this drops, we'll be back. But
yeah,
we're
still,
leaving
we
later
appreciate
this
the
week.
good vibes.
Yeah, good vibes. We're leaving later this week. This time there's 8 of us that are going. Juan and Lisa are coming with us this time. Their baby's a little
Mhm,
bit older. So,
mhm, mhm.
we kind of feel like in that sense, like it was meant to be, like they were meant to
Yeah,
come with us because they weren't
mm.
supposed to come with us the first time. So, yeah.
And then unfortunately, like, our other buddies who were supposed
Mhm.
to go with us on the first one still can't come this time because they have a little family of their own that they're
Yes,
working
yes.
on, so, I mean, obviously, we'd love to have them, but of course,
Yeah, like
family's our priority.
circumstances change, and I think
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I was so bummed about because it's like, do you know how hard it is to coordinate even a dinner with
Oh
a
my
group of
gosh,
people, let alone
a
have
trip.
12 of us commit to a week-long trip, and
Mhm.
that's one of the things I think that I was most sad about because I knew that we weren't gonna be able to do it again, and even though
Yeah.
we're not, we're still, it's still gonna be a great trip, and,
Mhm.
we're all very excited, so
Mhm, mhm.
bon voyage.
Bon voyage. The countdown
Yes.
is on, and hopefully enjoyed listening to our nightmare of a
Yes.
memory of our cruise. Hopefully, yeah, we'll reimburse you with a really good and fun one
Yes.
afterwards.
Money back and 20% off.
With a little bit of pixie dust.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
But yeah,
Alright.
this is all that we have for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah.
If you guys have listened to the end of this episode, comment or DM us on Instagram. On our Instagram post, leave us an emoji. Oh God, this is an easy one.
Oh,
The rain with an umbrella. What is it? The thunderbolt.
I was
Like
gonna
just a
say in the
sad.
ship.
Yeah, yeah. Seriously, anything. So yeah, leave us an
Yeah.
emoji.
Yeah. Don't forget to follow, rate, and subscribe to our podcast. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Threads. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Be sure to hit the bell to make sure that you're not missing out on any of our episodes that we release. Check us out on all of those platforms. Chat with us. Ask us any questions. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time,
Stay away
in
in
the
the
best
best
way.
way. Bye. Wish it.
Well, next time you see us, we're gonna be tan.
Yeah, yeah. There you go.
There you go.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.